Okay guys, welcome to the mindset video. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, why is there a mindset video? This is meant to be an online business course, just give me the information, and we are going to give you that information, but we had to place one video on mindset in this course because it really is very important in determining the results you're going to get. You need to think of it like your mindset, the way you think, will determine the behaviors that you take, which will determine the results that you get. So if we have the wrong mindsets, the wrong beliefs from the beginning, the wrong values, we're not going to take those right actions that are going to get us to that vision that we want to achieve. And that's why we are going to be coming back to these mindsets every single day in our productivity tracker, just to make sure that we are keeping in mind the things that we need to be thinking about, the ways that we need to be thinking in order to get the results that we want. So let's jump into the mindset video. I hope you have a pen and paper ready because you do need to take notes, and we're going to explore everything that you need to know when it comes to thinking the right way every single day. When you first get into the world of online business, you go deep down the rabbit hole of tactics and strategies to sell stuff, and there's really an endless sea of knowledge out there when it comes to practical information in terms of how to actually build a successful business. But what if I told you knowing how to do it is only 20% of what determines your success? That might sound a little ridiculous, and I definitely thought it was all about the practical application in the beginning too, but as I went through the process and walked down the path of building a successful online business, I realized from my own results and the mindset side of all of this is far more crucial than the practical side. And sure, you need to have the information and how to in order to know what to do. However, if you're holding yourself back from actually implementing effectively, then you're not going to be able to do the things you know you should do. And I haven't seen this in myself, but also in my mentors, colleagues, and students in all areas of life. It's not just me. I feel like everyone has the same thing. If we don't have our minds right, then we aren't able to actually implement and achieve what we know we can achieve. So the way your mind works is the primary determinant of your success in life. Now, that may sound pretty scary. If it's all about mindset, then what if it's not possible to get results because your mind's so messed up it can never change? Well, that's not been my experience. I've seen people with the worst mindsets adapt and grow very quickly simply because they had the leverage to develop and cultivate the right mindset for success. If you adopt and consciously cultivate the right modes of thinking in order to generate the success in your life, then there's really nothing that can stop you. But you must commit and find your leverage, your why for doing so, if you want to move forward. Now, before we go in depth into the mindsets for success and how to cultivate them, I want to break down two real life examples for you. The first will be about a guy I know who had none of the how-to information around building an online business, but was able to create a $1 million business in a few short years. Then the next mate of mine who's got all of the resources known to man, but after years and years of doing this has never found success with this stuff. So let's jump into these. My first mate started online business before it was even a thing people did during the early 2000s when the digital marketing community was tiny. He had none of the how-to information other than forums and communities like Warrior Forum where people just talk nonsense really. The information that was out there was basically a mixed box of puzzle pieces where he needed to figure out what to do as he went along, and the only way to get success was to test out tactics and strategies one by one until you could figure out what would work, and once in a while you'd be able to find one of those things that would work, and then my mate would basically just add it to his arsenal, discard things that didn't work, and over time more and more information was put out and he tested all of it, which is why these days he's a bit of an encyclopedia of internet marketing knowledge. But he was essentially blind feeling his way and working this way to test things he didn't even know would work out, because he knew he could do this and he really wanted to achieve this more than anything else. I mean, after being dragged through the mud for years and years, he built his online income steadily, and today he's an online business that does 1 million per year in the e-commerce space, guys. So he had none of the full in-depth courses we have today, but he had all of the mindsets I'm going to share with you in this module, and it was those mindsets that enabled him to push through the fire of figuring this stuff out. He didn't have information even close to what we have today, but he had the stuff. and put in the effort to build to the level he's at right now. Another guy I know got started in this a few years before me, and he had access to all kinds of crazy courses, borrowing money from his parents and using credit cards to buy all of them. He studied and implemented here and there, but the trouble was he could barely ever find the leverage to actually implement anything, and when he did, it was very inconsistent. If he didn't get results with something right away, he would just move on to the next course looking for new information, looking for the magic bullet that would solve all of his issues. And the problem was his life was just too comfortable, and he had zero leverage for doing this other than thinking it would make him look really cool or something. I don't know. His dream was to make money whilst he slept and having everything provided for him, because that's how he grew up. And this belief that he shouldn't have to expend any energy meant that he never put in any effort when it came to actually achieving anything, because as soon as it got hard, he didn't feel comfortable anymore. And even though he had far more access to information than anyone else I've ever known, he never left the comfort of his day job, which he eventually had to get once the allowance stopped coming in, because the job given to him was easy money, and he liked the security of knowing money was coming in more than the freedom of building his own lifestyle. So there was never really the ability to take action and do the damn things that bring results consistently, which means he just didn't implement the information at his disposal. So I think having the information is important, but without the right mindsets, beliefs, ways of thinking that drive someone to succeed, you just can't use that information, meaning the information is useless if you don't know how to implement it consistently over a sustained period of time. So as we go through this module, I want you to reflect on where you're at with each mindset as we discuss, and think about your own behaviors and beliefs, because you need to search for areas and situations where you've exhibited some of these more negative characteristics or positive characteristics, because the awareness of your strengths and weaknesses will allow you to plan for doubling down on your strengths and improving upon your weaknesses when we create our domination plan in the following module. So the first mindset I want to get into is work ethic. Now, if someone asked me what the one magic bullet quality I'd want to have if I could only choose one, I'd choose work ethic. I mean, work ethic is a belief that hard work and consistent action taking has the inherent ability, virtue, and value to strengthen character and create results. A belief in the importance of taking action and manifesting that action and determination to desire and work hard to get what you want. So believing in the value of working hard and its ability to generate desired results will dictate how much work you actually do, which is why I think this is so crucial. And if actually doing the tasks is what bring the results, then the number one thing you must develop is a strong work ethic, meaning a strong ability to actually do the task, because it shouldn't even take any mental effort to start working. Engaging in your daily task should enliven you and not take any willpower, as everyone's always talking about. You should love your work and love every bit of it, because you enjoy the process of achieving things, and you know that your work is what brings you the results you want in life, so you continue to do the things that get the results. And a strong work ethic involves believing that the path to get what you want primarily involves taking action. So you find solutions to problems instead of finding excuses for not doing the things you know you need to do. And it's the realization that the more you do, the more results you'll get. So sure, work smarter, but also work harder, because the harder and smarter you work, the more results you'll get. The person with a strong work ethic continuously asks, what else? What else could I be doing right now that would get me closer to my goal? Then they go and they do what they can to get more out of what they do. Sitting on the bus, read a book. Stuck at the bus stop, meditate. Favorite TV show after work? How about finishing those tasks you put off yesterday? Having a strong work ethic means taking the right actions you know will get you closer to the goal, and not giving in to instant pleasure. Delaying gratification in pursuit of something much more gratifying in the long term. Like the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment. You've probably heard of it before. The Stanford marshmallow experiment was a series of studies on delayed gratification in the late 1960s and early 1970s, led by psychologist Walter Mischel, then a professor at Stanford University. In these studies, a child was offered a choice between one small reward provided immediately or two small rewards if they waited for a short period, around 15 minutes, during which the tester left the room and then returned. So in the follow-up studies, the researchers found that children who were able to wait longer for the preferred rewards tended to have better life outcomes as measured by SAT scores, educational attainment, body mass index, and other measures of success like income. So delaying gratification actually led to self-actualization. Your ability to put off gratifying your desire for stimulation and satisfaction, whilst instead focusing on activities and behaviors that give you a longer term, more positive impact, will generate greater results. You need to decide whether you want to build your online business or binge all those shows on Netflix whilst burping on your couch. You need to understand that no matter what obstacles come up or what excuses you could make, you're going to do the things you know you must do in order to bring about a certain result. So the most common mindset is not one of enjoying the process and achievement. It's actually one of minimizing time and energy. But does that really make you happy? Probably not. If you've invested in this course, what makes you happy is progress, because you won't succumb to the slow groan of time. You're a forward-moving, push-forwarder, and because you have this intense desire that's inside of you, you've got to get it out. You really want to get it out, and it's not a normal thing, guys, to be like that. Having a strong work ethic is something that's cultivated over time, which is why in a few videos time, I'm going to reveal to you the best method I've found for improving work ethic and building the love of the process, because it really is a habit that needs to be built over a long period, and depending on where you start, it might be a little bit of work to do. Now that you understand why your work ethic is the most valuable tool you have in your toolbox, you'll get why tracking your behaviors each day and improving your efficiency over time is so critical. And we're going to get into that in the productivity system in the next module. Now, the next mindset I want to get into is having a vision. You always want to begin with the end in mind. You need to develop a vision of what you really want in life. This means literally mapping out every detail of your life and putting it down on paper, then coming back and reviewing it every single day so you can watch yourself get closer and closer to that reality, whilst adjusting your behaviors to bring you closer to that outcome. So what gets measured gets managed, meaning that the things that are measured can be improved upon. And if we have no idea what our vision is, then how can we possibly know if we're getting any closer to it? And that's why if you just say, I want to be rich, you're never going to feel like you're getting closer to it, because wherever you are, there you are. You don't see your own progress because you're going along the journey with yourself. And as you go along, everything becomes normalized. Often you're going to forget to even celebrate the wins that you get along the journey. And that's why we write down everything in detail when it comes to our big long-term goal, so that we know whether we're getting closer to it or not. And if not, we keep adjusting our course until we do get closer. So keeping track of your progress towards the overall vision allows us to determine whether we're getting close to it and how quickly we're getting close to it, so we can manage our progress. You know, you need to envision, plan, and commit to achieve something that truly excites you and creates enough leverage for you to follow through in achieving it. Sit down and write down in detail what you want to achieve, then give yourself a deadline for achieving it, so you feel that push to take action in the lead up to achieving said goal. Specific, difficult goals lead to higher performance than either easy goals or instructions to do your best. So as long as feedback about progress is provided by your tracking system, you're committed to the goal, and you have the ability and knowledge to perform the task, you're going to perform at your very best. And in this course, I'm giving you all of the knowledge you need to build an online business that brings in 6 figures and beyond. So the sky is really the limit when it comes to formulating your vision and goals. You want to make your goal grand and exciting. Setting easy goals doesn't work as well as more difficult ones, according to the research and our experience. So make sure your goal is audacious. Now, make sure it is something that you do believe you can achieve, but make sure that it isn't your wildest dreams. Make it like the big goal that you want to achieve and you think it's going to take you 10 years to get there, but in reality, you're going to get there in 1 year. Now, there are 4 main reasons why you must set specific, actionable, and difficult goals within a reasonable time frame. The first is having a vision and goals directs your attention, focus, and effort on the activities that bring you closer to that goal. So you always know what you should be doing. And next, difficult goals and a grand vision lead to greater effort because you know there's more work to do when a goal is more difficult to achieve. Third, goals increase persistence, with difficult goals prolonging effort, because when you know there's something you want and you want it bad enough, you're going to persist in achieving it no matter what, becoming less likely to give up. And then number 4, goals will lead you to actually implementing the knowledge and strategies necessary in the attainment of the goal as well. So as you search out further knowledge and strategies, you're going to be implementing them and learning them and absorbing them and becoming better at what you do, and that will enable you to achieve that goal much faster. But for all of these great effects of goals on your performance, you need to actually truly want and be committed to achieving those goals. You need to also believe you can achieve the goals. So I hope you do at this point. With all of the examples of success I've shown you, you should believe that this is possible and that you're going to achieve it. But assuming that you're already at that point where you do believe that you can get there, it's going to be very crucial that you put a lot of effort into figuring out exactly what your vision is, so that you're very clear on what you want and know what needs to be done to get there. So to get what you want, you have to know what you want, right? Which is why I recommend reviewing your vision daily and monthly to ensure it's still what you want, because who we are and what we want does change, but it's the awareness of what we want that creates room for us to achieve it. Now, achieving your vision is going to take focus, effort, and consistency. So you'll find it difficult to put in the work if you aren't really that excited about the vision you've created for yourself. And it's crucial to realize that you need to be able to look to that overarching vision and get excited about it, but also remember what you do minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day will have an effect on your results. So something important when it comes to vision and goals is really being able to manage your behaviors on a moment by moment basis, catching yourself in those weak moments and redirecting your attention to what needs to be done. Because if this vision really means something to you, achieving it is literally going to impact how much happiness you're able to attain. It's obvious, but there's also been a lot of research on both how having goals and achieving those goals directly impacts your sense of well-being. And if you're in this course, then that will be even more so for you, because you're the type of person who wants to achieve things in life and has big goals and dreams. So yeah, it really does matter that you work on improving your ability to affect your environment and do what you tell yourself you're going to do. Now, there is a general process you're going to go through when it comes to building an online business, and I'm going to personally take you from setting your goals to achieving them as fast as possible. But what those goals are exactly may be a little different from person to person, but the process will largely be the same when it comes to building a successful drop servicing business. But you really need to figure out why you want this, why you want to build an online business and get that freedom. Is it coming from within you or from your external environment? Like, you think you look really cool or something? Because if your goals have true personal meaning and reflect who you are and who you want to be, then you're a lot more likely to persist through obstacles and achieve them in the long term. Because from my experience and what I've seen, all of the research out there, is that if you don't reflect on your internal drive and if your goals aren't matched with your internal drive, then you're not pursuing them in the right way. I mean, if you're pursuing it due to external factors like society, your friends, your family, then they're not coming from within you, and because of that, the goals are a lot more likely to be abandoned when obstacles occur. So make sure your goals are something you truly want, or you are going to give up. It all comes down to setting goals and a vision that truly excites you on a deep personal level. You'll need to prioritize some goals over others, as well as organize your time on a daily basis for maximum efficiency, tracking your progress on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis so you can improve upon your ability to make progress, structuring and strategizing to actually do the things that will get you closer to your goal. So review your goals and vision periodically in case there is a need to adjust your vision and goals to meet new circumstances, and manage your time so that you're efficiently carrying out tasks and get you close to your primary goal. Now, in the next module, we're going to be breaking down specifically how to best set up your vision and goals for meeting that vision optimally. But right now, I want to talk a little bit about personal responsibility, because another very important belief is that no matter what happens in the external environment, you're responsible for it, taking personal responsibility for every outcome you get in life. Believe that you have substantial or total responsibility for the events and circumstances that befall value to a much greater degree than most people normally do, going about their day complaining about life. The reason this is so crucial is that if you believe your own past desires and choices must have led to whatever outcome or any future outcome, then you're much more likely to behave in a way that will get you closer to producing the reality you want. We can't just dream and set goals, then track what we do in pursuit of those dreams. We need to actually take personal responsibility for our outcomes, or we don't hold ourselves accountable for our actions. And because it's in our DNA to minimize time and energy expended as part of our survival instinct, we're going to fall into that most basic human behavior to do less if we don't make sure that we are putting that evolutionary pressure on ourselves by tracking everything we do and making sure we do those things. If you don't take personal responsibility for everything you do and the results you get, then you're not going to work on improving upon the results you're seeing when tracking all of your actions in pursuit of that vision. Taking personal responsibility for the situation you're in right now and everything that happens after it will help you be aware of your behaviors and optimize those behaviors for the result you want. If you think that you aren't really responsible for what happens to you, it's society or your parents or the market, then you're not going to do everything you can to get success. So taking personal responsibility for your situation will enable you to take control of your behaviors, which in turn helps you take control of your life. Assuming responsibility for your outcomes in the past will give you the personal power to affect what happens in the future. If you're lazy, for example, then you need to be able to recognize this and compare it to who you want to be in order to actually begin changing it. I'm not even talking about how we can't control the situations that happen to us, but we can at least control our attitudes towards them. That's the lame, watered down version. I'm talking about absolute total responsibility for where you are at in life and then taking the actions necessary to move you from that space to where you want to be. This isn't about positive thinking, this is about positive action. In order to make yourself do stuff, you need to believe that if you don't do stuff, it will be your fault for not getting what you want, because that's going to help you realize that your brain will trick you into behaviors that aren't actually good for you. If you let it run purely on emotion, taking total responsibility allows you to take back control for yourself and decide what you want to do, not your emotions. Next, you must believe in your ability to achieve the vision. If you don't believe you can do something, then you probably can't. But if you believe in something, then there's nothing you can't achieve. Meaning that if you actually compromise your work ethic, then you're not going to have the initial belief in yourself down. This is because belief determines action. If you truly believe you can do something, then you're going to put in so much more effort than if you don't believe you can do it. And that's just because if you don't think you can achieve something, you won't try that hard. So you can come back later and say, well, I wasn't really trying, and you avoid success to avoid failure. You're more scared of failure than you are of achieving success or not achieving success. So you're going to put in a lot more work if you're not really afraid of failure, but more promotion oriented to get the success. You'll put your foot on the accelerator and take it off the brake. But there are some things we can do to slowly increase our belief in ourselves, and that's slowly making progress and hitting small milestones. You'll believe you can do things that you actually do. So as you'll see in the productivity tracker, we're slowly increasing our goals each day, week, month, year, in the lead up to that big massive goal we have. That way we can track our progress step by step and get that belief in our own personal power to achieve things by seeing ourselves achieve things. This concept is so crucial that it's been the focus of a ton of research over the years. How much self-belief you have has been found to directly determine whether you'll be able to persist in the face of obstacles when trying to achieve something, and that's why it's a crucial mindset to have when building an online business. Those of you who have a lot of self-belief will work for longer periods of time and put in more effort within that time, so you'll succeed, whereas those with low levels of self-belief will give up early and fail. You need to believe in and value your personal strengths whilst developing a level of determination and perseverance to overcome obstacles that would get in the way of using those strengths to achieve your goals. So it seems that believing that you can achieve something will help you be successful by making you both try harder for longer periods of time whilst persisting through and overcoming obstacles that come up rather than just giving up completely. So self-belief affects every area of life to a crazy degree. By figuring out the beliefs someone holds about their power to affect situations, you can determine the results they're going to get. And this has been shown in a lot of studies by guys a lot smarter than me, but I'm sure you can think of situations in your own life, in yourself or others. So self-belief strongly influences both the power you have to face challenges competently and the choices you're likely to make. One clear example of this is in behaviors affecting health. People that don't think they can change much about their health don't diet and exercise, and so their health deteriorates over time. Those who know that what they do when it comes to diet and exercise will have a direct impact on their health will actually do something about that, so they end up actually being healthy. What a surprise, right? So it all comes down to upbringing and predispositions, but self-belief can be developed and changed. If you're one of those people that don't believe you can achieve things and have the power to push through the obstacles that will come your way and develop that self-belief, over time your level of self-belief will grow and you'll feel much more personal power. And in this course, we're going to systematically increase your level of self-belief when it comes to this online business thing by taking you by the hand, step by step, achieving little milestones and getting it one step at a time, slowly over time, so you're a little more comfortable with every task you get successfully done. And that's really made possible because we all perceive and interpret our own existence based on what we see externally. These impressions are made up and organized and active throughout life, both consciously and subconsciously. So our success and failure is closely related to how we view ourselves in relation to others and the external environment. We see how we're performing in relation to others and constantly adapt that self-concept as circumstances change, so we can adjust it over time. Now, this self-belief affects our choices of behavior as well. We'll typically only engage in activities that we think will be successful at in order to get positive emotions and avoid negative ones. So if you've built an online business before, you'll believe you can do it again. Or if you've seen a lot of poor online business owners, you'll believe that you've tried it once and you failed and you'll be poor too. Or you saw other people fail and that means that you'll fail too. So your level of self-belief also directly impacts your level of motivation. It's like I keep repeating, if you have a high level of self-belief, you're more likely to put in the effort for a longer period of time than you didn't. The stronger self-belief, the stronger you'll try. And that's simply because of motivation. You're more motivated to try harder when you think you can actually achieve it, because it's going to feel good when you achieve it. And the opposite is true. When you don't believe you can achieve it, you're less motivated because you think you're going to fail anyway. A famous example of the level of self-belief's effects on effort and results is the study on learned helplessness by Martin Seligman. And in this experiment, they applied shocks to animals. Through the experiment, it was discovered that the animals placed in the cage where they could escape shocks by moving to a different part of the cage didn't attempt to move because they had formerly been placed in a cage where they couldn't escape from the shocks. So low self-belief from previous circumstances can lead to the state where you believe that no amount of effort will make a difference in your success. So if you don't think you can do something, you won't even try, and often you'll find the task more difficult than it actually is, just because you don't think there's any potential positive outcome from the action. This makes you weak when obstacles come up, making you more likely to give up instead of overcoming that obstacle. Self-belief determines effort, effort determines outcome. Do you really need to achieve it? Why not just relax and watch some Netflix or go out for a burger? Wouldn't that feel super good? Or would you prefer smashing through your goals and achieving something great in your own eyes? Neither of these options are inherently bad, but because you're taking this course and want to build an online business that funds a life of freedom, you're going to need to start developing a desire for achievement greater than any short-term vice, so that you're properly allocating your time instead of throwing it away day after day so you feel comfortable and nice. This concept is known as your need for achievement. It's the desire for significant accomplishment, mastering of skills, control, or high standards, and involves intense, prolonged, and repeated efforts to accomplish something difficult. So, to work with singleness of purpose towards a higher and distant goal and have that determination to win, you need to have that need for achievement. And that's why it's a crucial concept that must be added to our discussion of mindset that's going to get you success with your online business. Now, need for achievement is the internal drive to accomplish things in the external environment, persist through obstacles, solve problems, and strive for true greatness. It's what causes you to enjoy pain and take consistent action in setting goals and meeting high standards when it comes to achievement. Now, the need for achievement comes from inside of you. It's the internal drive for action, more so than the pressure exerted on you by others. It's what motivates you to push through and succeed, and is discussed by most very successful people as a most basic desire to achieve things in life that they're often able to put above all other desires. It's what drives you to excel in the things that you've decided are important. And the interesting thing about people with a high need for achievement is they'll typically tackle tasks that are moderately difficult, but still within the abilities to achieve. Whereas people who don't have this desire to achieve will set no or small goals that don't require effort, and sometimes massive goals they couldn't possibly achieve, so that it won't be embarrassing when they fail. Now, if you've purchased this course, then you've already in the group of people that has a high need for achievement. And when it comes to building your online business, you need to realize that your success needs to be powered by success, which is why we're going to look for and celebrate wins at every stage of the process, not just big wins at the end, so that way we can stoke the fire of intrinsic motivation and get you wanting more wins along the way. You're the type of person that seeks challenges and independence, and in this course we've structured challenges that are going to enable you to systematically build the financially independent lifestyle so that you can do what you want when you want. The next thing you need to realize is success is abundant. Money is abundant. Your power to achieve is abundant. The abundance mentality is very important to your success because it's going to determine how you treat people, money, energy, everything. And most people will think this is just kind of some kind of weird spirituality woo-woo stuff, but the abundance mentality will have a direct impact on your results, and let me tell you how. When you see something as abundant, you're able to feel comfortable taking it and giving it. That's a very important belief to have when it comes to anything, but let's take money for example. If you feel abundant towards money, you won't be afraid of investing it in yourself or your business because you know there's more right around the corner, and you won't be afraid of asking more of it from your clients or customers because you know that they'll make it back, and via your service you can provide so much more value than that amount of money. So that's a very real and direct impact that the abundance mentality can have on your ability to get things done and how much you make. So Stephen Covey, in his book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, talks about the scarcity mentality being the norm across most of society. People believe that life is a zero-sum game. There's losers and winners who have taken more so that others get less. And if you have a scarcity mentality, you'll find it difficult to share or appreciate the success of others because whenever you get something, it means less for other people. And this mindset causes you to compete for resources even when there's an abundance of them. The abundance mentality comes from a deep inner sense of personal worth and security in knowing that you have the ability to get what you need in life. And it's the paradigm that there is plenty out there and enough for everybody. This results in the sharing of prestige, recognition, profits, and decision making. You'll notice whether you have an abundance or scarcity mentality most when you see other people achieving something that you're trying to achieve. Does it excite you or make you sad? When you have an abundance mentality, you get excited and inspired when other people achieve things because it shows you that it's possible, and if they can do it, you can do it. When you've got the scarcity mentality, on the other hand, you get depressed at others' success because if they're getting it, it means there's less for you and there's less of a chance that you can get it too because it's something limited. Now, you don't want to be scared of others taking what you have or losing what you've got because it's going to make the climb to the top more and more difficult as you go. Once you've adopted the mindset that success is abundant, and therefore anyone that decides to go out and get it, then you're going to feel a lot more comfortable taking risks and being creative because you know that if you ever lose what you have, you can just go out there and get more. There's a range of ways you can work on developing an abundance mentality, giving to charity, affirmations, and carrying wads of cash wherever you go, a few common ones. But the most powerful thing to do though is simply look around you at all of the success and realize that no one is cut from a different cloth. What one man can do, another man can do. See that when you do achieve something or lose something, you can simply go about the same process you used to achieve it or get it again and again and again. Success is abundant and there for anyone that's willing to go out and get it. The mindsets and beliefs we've discussed so far are extremely important to your success, but let's think about another super important but simple behavior that can play a massive role in determining your success. That's your ability to focus and be patient. If we agree that there's a certain set of tasks that need to be done, and those tasks take a certain amount of time to get done, then we can assert that there is a fixed period of time and amount of effort with which you need to engage in a set of practices to achieve an outcome. So if the most efficient route is a straight line, then we can think of focus and patience as the behavior that keeps us on that straight line and moving forward on it. So focus enables us to keep on that straight line of doing the tasks instead of checking our phone or going to McDonald's with Jenny. When we get distracted, we loop around in big circles off the straight line, meaning it's going to take us a lot more time to reach the end goal we're after. Then patience enables us to continue down that straight line path without giving up or stopping along the way, completely due to slow progress or no results for certain periods or some kind of obstacles that come up. It's having the patience to push through the struggle, allowing us to keep on that path. So if you can't focus, if you get distracted and procrastinate, it quite simply means you don't want something bad enough. Otherwise, you would be taking action towards that thing until you reach your vision. Distraction is a symptom of lack of focus that comes from not having a vision that truly gets you fired up and excited. But the next thing is patience in following the process. Sometimes we can get so impatient to get to the future without realizing that the present is where all of the progress is made. Realize that you're never going to feel complete or that you've made it. You must instead find a process that you enjoy doing. And luckily in business, there's so many processes that can bring results, whether it be advertising, content creation, direct outreach, and a million more. There's so many forms of business growth activities that you can truly dive into and really love. But of course, you can't simply do things and expect to get results. You really need to focus on reverse engineering the success of others, which is why in this course you get a super in-depth detailed roadmap of what you need to do each day to get the results you're after. Find other people who are successful as well and model what they do to get the same success. But luckily for you, this course is really going from beginner right up to advanced. And when it comes to building an online business, so long as you don't get distracted by shiny object syndrome and actually implement what you have here, then you will get that same success. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I've given you this roadmap here unless you apply it. I'm giving you absolutely everything here. So if you don't get success, it simply means you didn't follow the process. And please do what I say and put in the work. If this is something you really want, you will get it. Priorities determine outcomes. So make sure that this is your number one priority in life and you're going to get the outcome you want a lot faster than you think. And I'm looking forward to being with you every step of the way. Let's do it, guys, and jump into the next video.